Good day, ma'am. Today we are going to discuss our research studies about risk management plan for the Philippine National Bank together with my co-members, Angelica Balbena, Elisha Damiana, Rico Lumanglonsod, and Victor Mondia. This includes background of the study, objective of the study, risk analysis, risk matrix, and risk response planning. Risk management plan at Philippine National Bank is all about identifying, analyzing, and managing risks that could affect the bank's operation, reputation, and financial stability. Our study focuses on identifying potential risks such as credit risk when borrower might not repay, operational risk, issues in process, and market risk, changes in economic condition, and processing strategies to address them. By implementing these measures, we aim to protect the bank's assets, build trust with our clients, and ensure compliance with regulations.
I'm Glyceria Sanyana and I'll be discussing the background of the study. The Philippines National Bank is highlighting its importance as a major financial institution in the Philippines and its contribution to the country's economic development. PNB faces several risks that threaten its financial and operational stability, including credit risks. The risks that borrowers may default their obligation, causing financial losses. And the second is market risk, potential financial losses due to fluctuation in interest rates, exchange rates, and stock prices. The third is liquidity risk, the risk of not being able to cover short-lived debts. And the fourth is operational risk from internal errors involving stock, system, or process. To address these challenges, PNB employs a range of risk management strategies such as credit assessment, market analysis, internal control, and continual system updates.
I'm Angelica May Balbuena and I'll be discussing the objective of the study. This study aims to determine the effectiveness of the risk management process at the Philippine National Bank in monitoring these type of risks such as credit risk, market risk, operational risk, liquidity risk, and compliance risk, financial risk, regulatory risk. This research aims to pinpoint the industry should focus improvement efforts around customer experiences and service quality, driving improved financial performance and regulatory attachment. The result could have for-reaching implications for the banking sector by contributing towards identifying strong risk management practices that ensure financial stability and shareholder value creation, leading to a more resilient banking system.
My name is Rico Lumanglonsod. I'm going to proceed to discuss the risk identification. First is financial risk. The Philippine National Bank for financial risk, and the outcome is speculative risk because because it involves uncertainties in market activities such as investment in stocks or foreign exchange where the bank could either gain or lose money. On the other hand, the scope is particular risk. It refers to risks that affect PNB directly, such as loan defaults or individual borrowers' issues, which do not impact the broader market but could lead to financial loss for the bank. Second is market risk. The market risk in Philippine National Bank, the outcome is speculative because this risk is linked to unpredictable events or market behaviors that can lead to significant changes in the value of the bank's changes assets in the scope is fundamental because this risk tied to more predictable underlying factors that affect the market over time, such as interest rate changes, inflation, or overall economic conditions. For PNB, if the central bank raises interest rates, it could affect the bank's loan profits or investment returns. Third is operational risk. The operational risk outcome of the Philippine National Bank is pure because this is the risk that comes from unexpected events or mistakes that happen outside the bank's control. And and scope is particular risk. Happens from specific issues with the bank such as employee error or a technical failure in the bank system that causes problems for customers. Third is liquidity risk. The liquidity risk is outcome speculative. This type of risk is related to the uncertainty of future cash flows or the possibility that the bank might not be able to sell its assets at a fair price when needed. And the scope is particular because it is more specific to the bank's day-to-day operations or certain circumstances. For PNB, this could involve specific situation where the bank faces sudden high demand for withdrawals or large payments, but does not have enough ready cash or liquid assets to cover them immediately. Fifth is compliance risk. The compliance risk outcome is pure because this is the risk of violating laws or regulation without any intention or outside the bank's control. And the scope is particular. This refers to specific compliance risks related to particular activities or department in the bank. For PNB, this could mean associated with specific areas like anti-money laundering rules, data privacy laws, or loan approval processes. And six is credit risk. The credit risk of the Philippine National Bank, the outcome is speculative because this risk associated with borrowers or investment that have higher chances of not being able to repay, often because they are involved in risky or unstable activities is fundamental because this refers to the overall financial health of a borrower or institution. It involves analyzing things like a borrower income, assets, and credit history to determine if they are likely to repay the loan. Then lastly is regulatory. Lastly is regulatory risk. The Philippine National Bank outcome is pure. It happens when there are sudden unexpected changes in regulations that the banks can control, such as new law that impacts how it must operate. In the scope is particular regulatory risk involves specific rules or regulations that PNB must follow in certain areas like ensuring compliance with anti-money laundering laws or reporting standards. If PNB fails to meet these requirements, it could face fines or illegal issues.
I'm Ivy Grace Kainay. I'll be discussing the risk matrix and risk planning. First is financial risk. The frequency or probability of financial risk is likely because according to Tyron Pay 2024, PNB is experiencing high credit risk that increased by economic changes and possible rises in defaults. Despite PNB consistent non-performing loan ratio of 7.3%, the impact is moderate because even though PNB capital's ratio is strong, a large increase in non-performing loan could have a moderate impact on its financial stability and probability. Second, market risk. The frequency or probability of market risk is likely because PNB activities can be affected by major financial market movements. According to Bank Risk Framework, these risks have a moderate potential impact, which means that they can have an influence on their probability, but it is generally controllable. As a result, PNB faces a high level of risk because the interest rate changes have a big effect on PNB profits, especially because the bank does a lot of lending and investment. Third is operational risk. Operational risks have been considered as likely because PNB has a variety of internal and external factors that affect banking operation. These dangers for banks has been increased by COVID-19 epidemic, particularly in the areas of transaction processing and compliance. According to PNB Corporate Sustainability, the impact of this operation risk is categorized as moderate. Through operational failures may result in monetary losses, harm to one's reputation, and penalties on the government. Third is liquidity risk. The probability of liquidity risk is likely because PNB encountered economic changes and unforeseen events that can rapidly influence cash flows, particularly during crises such as COVID-19. According to Fitch Rating, at the end of March 2021, PNB Common Equity Tier ratio was 14.1%, which offers proper reduction against moderate credit pressure in the system. Fourth is credit risk. The frequency or probability of in credit risk is almost certain, especially in today's economic situation, when many different types of external events might have an impact on borrowers' financial stability. According to PNB Risk Framework, the impact of credit risk framework is considered moderate. This means that while potential losses can have an impact on banks' profits, they are typically controlled through appropriate risk management methods. However, due to nature of PNB's significant liquidity portfolio, the overall risk level is classified as critical. Fourth is liquidity risk. The probability of liquidity risk is likely because PNB encountered economic changes and unforeseen events that can rapidly influence cash flows, particularly during crises such as COVID-19. According to the Fitch Rating, at the end of March 2021, PNB Common Equity Tier ratio was 14.1%, which offers proper reduction against moderate credit pressure in the system. Fifth is credit risk. The frequency or probability of in credit risk is almost certain, especially in today's economic situation when many different types of external events might have an impact on borrowers' financial stability. According to PNB Risk Framework, the importance of risk is considered moderate. This means that while potential losses can have an impact on banks' profits, they are typically controlled through appropriate risk management methods. However, due to the nature of PNB's significant lending portfolio, the overall risk level is classified as critical. Six is regulatory risk. The likelihood is high because the Philippine National Bank faces possible regulatory changes due to complicated local and international rules. One of these is anti-money laundering, which aim to stop criminals from hiding illegal monies as illegal income. To manage this risk, PNB used a well-organized compliance program and a three lines of defense model to ensure responsibilities and different departments. Lastly, compliance risk. The frequency of compliance risk is thought to be likely because PNB works in highly required environment. The risk of non-compliance can be major because it can cause loss of business license, large fines, and serious reputational harm like penalties that can result in a decrease in customer trust. This risk is critical given PNB's strict regulatory framework, which includes anti-money laundering and customer protection.
This difference is system and online strategy to manage high-risk value across various domains. Market potential, liquidity, credit, compliance, regulatory, and operations. Each type of risk is addressed with a structure, system plan, specific action, responsibilities, record resource, and other, ensuring a system reduction, risk mitigation, strategy for those high funding, resource, and stress testing liquidity risk under the variable market condition. By prioritizing emergency funding plans and scenarios analysis, this plan strengthen liquidity management and reduce dependency on single funding source. So next is credit risk. Credit risk is a risk reductions, enhancement to credit assessment procedure, regular evaluations, and portfolio diversification and to reduce exposure to default risk. Advanced credit scoring tools and lending across multiple sectors contribute to a robust credit risk management framework. So next is compliance risk. Compliance risk is a risk avoidance strategy ensure adherence to regulatory requirements, comprehensive compliance policies, mandatory training, and regulatory internal audit help reduce exposure to illegal and operational activities. The focus on a robust internal control foster a culture of compliance across the organization. Next is regulatory risk. For regulatory risk, PNB will reduce risk by training staff, by using compliance management tool, and strengthening internal audit with timeline of 3 to 6 months. So lastly is operational risk. For operational risk, PNB will transfer risk by securing insurance and outsourcing its service and providing staff training to be complete within 1 to 3 months. This strategy really own financial investment, skilled personnel, and advanced technology to ensure compliance and operational